Hello, welcome back to Living Well with Ebrielle, where we are doing another public health discussion regarding contact tracing and language barriers. So for this week, we have Isabel, who is an international graduate student at a local university who just recently came in contact with someone who had COVID. She is expected to quarantine for 14 days at her apartment, and she's also expected to participate in an automated system for contact tracing that's required by the county health department and the local government for the area. And so when approaching the situation regarding contact tracing, when it comes to observing language barriers, it's important to note that there are some biases when you have people who English is their first language. It can be difficult to participate in automated systems where the questions are not translated, or even if there is a caller who is speaking to a person and the English, the language, the dialects aren't able to match or add up. So the service is something that is mandated by the government and not the school. It would be helpful if the school had systems that were set up, channels that were set up that make it easier for students to participate in the contact tracing. But it is important that she understands the information that is presented to her, and it is important that she is able to effectively navigate the channels through the local county departments, as well as through her school departments, as well as also through the departments that are required from her country of origin. She would have to find resources that provide her access to language services unless she chooses to use an online translator. It's important to understand what her access to internet is like, whether or not she has the ability to isolate and self-quarantine. Also, whether or not she herself has been tested for COVID. Asking these questions is very important to understanding her current conditions at the time, what her needs are, and how that can affect her ability to participate in contact tracing. Asking questions regarding her cultural needs in a new environment may also help her better understand the needs and expectations for contact tracing. If she needs to, like, let's say, for example, she comes from an Islamic country, she might have to participate in her daily prayer. And how could that affect her contact tracing if the calls or the systems are something that are happening at the same time as her daily prayer is supposed to be happening? So those types of things are very important to know and to understand when it comes to cultural needs and a new environment. And even just understanding that can help create more protocol and policies to help with the exchange of information when it comes to quarantine, when it comes to contact tracing. There are telehealth services that can provide contact tracing services, in which case a provider will give a call to a person and ask them a series of questions regarding the health. And so it's important that when you do have people who are participating in contact tracing, that they can support a variety of social determinants of health, language, religion, culture. All of those things should be understood, hopefully, by the person who is performing the service. Connecting with people effectively to review their needs and how to also then address them systematically. So having a person who also then knows how to access resources within the system that are beneficial to the person, helping them define agencies or describe agencies that may help them. There are a lot of agencies for Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and so finding those channels of support that may also be able to find maybe a translator or communication within that local county that supports the cultural needs. Understanding the cultural background of a person increases the ability to relate to a person, even if there are language barriers. It's important to express all the areas of intersectionality to create more safe spaces within frameworks. For example, the ways that Black people will always acknowledge each other in most spaces is an example of intersectionality. People who also may be both the same language speaker, even though they may not be from the same country. Those are examples of intersectionality. People who are in the LGBTQ community are examples of intersectionality. So addressing, like finding these areas, pregnant women or mothers, that can be an example of intersectionality. Complexion, even down to those types of things, can be all examples of intersectionality, and more. And it's important to acknowledge privilege when reviewing intersectionality so that you can be better informed, and also know how to communicate more compassionately. When there are more similarities, it definitely improves the ability to be able to communicate. Also helping to identify these intersectionalities also helps to present more safe spaces where agencies can be defined and can be recommended so that a person can take full advantage of the resources that are available to them. I also think that there should be some additional resources to help people self-medicate when it comes to quarantine. Giving resources that can support their mental health at the time, telehealth check-ins, in addition to just contact tracing. How do you feel? How are you adjusting to this climate? How are you adjusting to this country? Do you need any directions to any resources in your area that might be able to help you sustain yourself, to help you find the things that you need? There's a local pharmacy here. There is a gas station here. There is a convenience store or grocery store there to help people understand the environment that they're a part of. I think that that's very helpful. Also, being able to identify groups that may be supportive. Even though Isabel is directed to quarantine, which means that she shouldn't technically be around anybody, but there are groups on Facebook that she might be able to participate in, or on social media that might give her a sense of community, so that she can maybe try to help find some cultural things that could help her feel better in adjusting to the potential risks of illness. Establishing more avenues for wellness, talking more about wellness as opposed to encouraging the conversation to continue about how sick are you, how many days have you been sick, what type of symptoms have you been feeling, shifting that conversation into what have you done to try to make yourself feel better. Is there anything that you can do to plan strategically to create better outlets for health? And what kinds of things do you need? Do you need exercise? Do you need nutrition? Do you need transportation? Helping to find those things, even income. Like, does this person maybe possibly need to work? So I think all of those things are very important. So thank you so much for watching this public health discussion regarding contact tracing and COVID and language barriers, and how that can all play a role into impacting our health and wellness. If you like this video and you like this content, please like and subscribe so I can keep doing this. Thank you. Bye.